Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's session with the Digital Solutions Program. I'm Renee Dembowski, and we're going to be working on Facebook and Instagram audiences today. I do like to have an interactive webinar, so please feel free as we go through to just interject, ask questions. I'm happy to go in the back end of your platforms and have a look if you like. Can I just get an idea of what businesses we've got here? So I can see Andrew, how are you? Lisa and Sue, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I just get an idea of who I've got here today? What sort of businesses you're in or what industry?
Shall I go first? I'm with the Bay Wedding Collective.
Yep.
So we're just trying to get some sort of organisation around the wedding industry happening up in our region.
Nice. Okay, thank you. What Bay? Where was it?
Jurien Bay.
Okay, nice. Thank you. And Lisa, how are you? Lisa might not be there. Andrew, hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. I've been on a couple of your webinars before, so always had a lot of value. So basically I run a weekend business, and I left work part-time to go full-time in March, but I've not really got any traction. And it's partly for a number of reasons. I think I've got everything in place, but I need to see if we get a picture. Get the Facebook and things. What I'm doing now is getting into the habit of consistently posting. So I'm doing that on LinkedIn and Facebook. So I want to get ahead in there, then start doing videos and start scheduling those as well, just to get the consistency first, and then hopefully in the new year, or the gap between, so say Christmas and New Year, and just after New Year is where I'm going to be having a bit of a push.
Very good. Yeah, I think for me, myself, in my industry, I've sort of stepped off the pedal with marketing at the moment, and I'll resume in the new year. Whereas if I was an e-commerce business or I would definitely, or even food, hospitality, events, I'd be ramping it up right now. So it's interesting to see how different industries have different priorities with regards to promotions at different times of the year. But so today I really wanted to, I guess, delve into Instagram and Facebook audiences. So in order to really do this effectively, you will need to have your Facebook domain verified and your pixel installed on your website. So assuming that you've done all of that, and if you haven't, there are workshops that you can attend where we go through the setup of that. Then this would be the next step. So let's have a look at the structure. So it's really, and I know some of you have already attended and I've gone through this with you, but it can't hurt to recap. So understanding the structure of Facebook, I find, is the number one challenge. And if you're confused, you're not the only one. So a lot of people, even agencies, don't really understand how it works. So we all have our personal Facebook profile, which we need to ensure that we use to sign in and access our business assets. A lot of organizations I see, they create dummy profiles, so pretend personal profiles to use for the purpose of business. Highly recommend not doing that because it can expose your business to security risks. So only ever use your legitimate Facebook personal profile, and your personal profile should have your legal name. The reason being is that if Facebook flags your page as being a page that is not using a real name, they will then ask you to verify your identity. And if your ID does not match the name that you've got on Facebook, you could permanently be restricted. And that's a real problem if you are the one who owns all of your business assets. Next, you've got groups. So we can access groups through pages or personal profiles. Business pages. So that's where we can advertise from our business page. And it's about attracting or recruiting people who don't already know about your business to either join a group or to go over to your website. At the end of the day, our ultimate goal is to drive as much traffic to our website as possible. And that's why we use social platforms as a tool to attract traffic to our website. The reason is that once we have traffic on our website, if we've done all of our setup properly, we're able to capture the data of those people who've been there. And then we're able to put them into an audience, which is what we're going to be looking at creating today. And then we can target those guys through ads. Then you've got your, let's look at the business suite. So a business suite, most of you will be familiar with if you do regular Facebook posting and Instagram posting. Business suite's about creating content, community management, responding to comments, inviting post likes to like your page, being able to draft and schedule content to both Facebook and Instagram. So that's more of a content creation tool. And then last but not least, and perhaps the most important, I'm just going to put my focus on so that I don't get messages, is your business manager. So the business manager is the higher level. If I was going to visualize it, I would call it a suitcase that holds all of your Facebook and Instagram assets securely in one place. So it's really important that that is set up properly, because if that's not set up properly and you're running ads, you're wasting your money. And also, if it's not set up properly, you could expose your business to hacking. And that would be, especially if you're investing in ads. I'm dealing with a couple of businesses right now who've been hacked. And it's a massive job to try and get your accesses back. So business manager, so it's like a suitcase that holds everything in one place. And I think most of you will have already attended that workshop. If not, I would recommend looking for Facebook for Business. Are you set up right? And attending that one. So let's have a quick look at the different dashboards before we go any further. I'm going to share a second screen here. Please let me know if you can't see it. So right now, my slides, and now the business manager dashboard. So in order to access your business suite, you would go to and I will share this one in our chat. So this here is our content creation portal here and community management portal. My chat box is missing. There we go. So this is, you might be familiar with this one here. So I'm just going to find. There we go. So I'm going to use Content Monarchy as the example or the sample for today, just because it's my own business and I don't have to worry about sharing information that's private. So this is the dashboard where we can create content for Facebook and Instagram. We can post it live, or we can schedule it for a later date, or we can draft it up so that we can then sit down and do some content creation in a chunk of time. So it's a little bit slow at the moment, but this is an example of what that looks like. Now, the business manager platform or dashboard is actually business.facebook.com/settings. So I'll put that in our chat. If you have multiple business manager accounts that you manage or you are an admin of, your dashboard will look like this. So these are individual business manager accounts. If you've only got access to one, it would look like this when you go to that URL. It'll take you straight into the back end. And so this is where we want to make sure that our brand safety domains has been verified with Facebook. We're not going to go into how to do that in this session, but this is something that's important to do before you start running ads. And also your data sources, and you have a pixel that's set up and installed and tracking on your website. So they're the two things I would recommend doing before you start creating audiences and before you start running paid ads. So this pixel, the way we set this up, will actually help us create our audiences. So let's have a look at the pixel dashboard and how that works. So the activity that's important to us for this website is anyone who views a page anyone who views the NDIS landing page, which is industry that we specialize in, anyone who actually registers. So all of these are important because we want to run ads to target people in the NDIS industry. And because we're collecting the data of those people, we're able to find them on Facebook and Instagram and run ads into their Facebook and Instagram timelines. So I would recommend ensuring that you've set all of this up and that you're targeting, or that you're collecting the data of people who've been on your website and people who are taking the actions that are important to your business. And so with that, we're going to now look at the audience's dashboard. Have we got any questions so far with those things? Anyone who hasn't attended those other workshops will probably need to, so that you know how to set this up properly. But has anyone got any questions at all?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
Sorry, I seem to not have my camera on for some reason.
That's fine.
But I have done quite a bit on my Facebook page, but I don't know this section that you just spoke about here around. Is that connecting to your page, or is that other people's pages that you're trying to track?
Your own. So
Your own.
you're only able to. So, earlier I spoke about the verifying your domain with Facebook.
Yep.
So
I've done that.
You've done that. So what that
Yep.
means is that you're saying, I'm the rightful owner of this domain.
Yeah.
And so I am able to, or I give myself permission to send traffic, track traffic for that domain. So the only way you could do it for another business is if they give you that access to their domain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at the moment mine is not coming up with these, like NDIS view landing page. It's not coming up with those. So maybe I've done something wrong on that.
Well, you would only have that if you set that up. So I can call these whatever I like down here. Yeah. So for me, I'll give you an example. So I've installed a pixel on my website. So let's go to Content Monkey. And we can see that Content Monkey has had a Facebook pixel installed because I've got this Chrome extension at the top right.
Yeah.
And it's called Facebook Pixel Helper. Anyone can install that on their browser.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you if there's a pixel installed. So this pixel ends in 890. If I go to my Business Manager account here, we can see that this pixel ends in 890. So it's that pixel, it's installed.
Mm-hmm.
So I can also, and this is a good way to do research about your competitors or people in your industry and how they are tracking and retargeting people. So from here, I can come across to my NDIS provider landing page, say, and when I have a look at that, it's going to tell me when someone comes here to this URL, what's being tracked. If I have a look at the Facebook Pixel Helper, it tells me that I'm tracking anyone, or this business is tracking anyone who views this page, views the NDIS, specifically that one, their landing page. You'll see that there's the same for hospitality and franchises. There might be button clicks. So I might be tracking people who click on Get Started Today, or different subscriptions, which ones they're clicking on. And so once they're taking these actions, provided that I've set those actions up as being actions that are important to me in here, I can put them into an audience. And so this is what your audience's dashboard looks like. So if you click on those three little lines, you'll have a menu bar here, and whatever you access frequently will be in your shortcuts at the top. Alternatively, if you can't see it there, you can just scroll down to under Advertise section here, where it says Audiences, and click on that one. So if I click on Audiences, it's going to show me a dashboard with a list of the people that I have put into Audiences. And because I've done that, I'm able to create ads and send them into the timelines of these people on Facebook, Instagram, and also on like third-party tools, websites like 9MSN News and stuff like that. And so there are 3 different types of audiences that a business can create. So these are a list of all of the audiences I've created for Content Monarchy for ads that I'm running. Some of them will be so like I said, there's 3 audience types. One is a saved. Now, saved audiences is where we say, I'm trying to target people who are based in Australia, women between the ages of 18 to 65 with interests in cafes, coffee, and fashion. So that's where we, they call them buyer personas, where we might think about what our customer looks like, what their interests are, what demographic they fit with them. And this is where we can come in here and create that. And Facebook will tell us, oh, okay, well, we found people who fit within this category here, women between these ages with interest in coffee, cafes, etc. We estimate there's about 6.1 million people to 7.2 million in Australia that you could potentially target. And however, how many you reach out of that will depend on how much budget you apply. So you might only reach 5,000 out of those 6.1 million. So it's a cold audience, a saved audience. And it can also be quite broad. So it's difficult to really narrow down to the people who are most likely to purchase. The beauty of having a broad cold audience like this is that generally you're able to reach a large volume of traffic, and then it will sift through those who are interested and not interested. Those who are interested will click your ad, come and land on your landing page. And once they are here, we're able to capture their data. And now they become what is a warm audience, or a warm audience, I would say. So then we can start retargeting a warm audience. And so that's a much smaller audience size. So these are saved audiences. And we're able to see the estimated audience size, and we can see that these are ready to go. So Facebook's populated those audiences, and I can target those whenever I'm ready. The next, and I would say probably a big tip for everyone who's creating audiences, really think carefully about your naming convention, because it can be very confusing if you're not using a consistent naming convention that makes sense to you. You should be able to understand by looking at this exactly who you're targeting by just looking at the name. So it's a saved audience. Another audience is a custom audience, and a custom audience is someone who's already engaged with your business in some way. So there's a lot of different ways people can engage with your business, and that could be through visiting your website. We can capture them because we've got our pixel installed, so we can create a custom audience based on that. It can be people who visit your Facebook page, Instagram page, specific URLs on your website, or even people, rather than visiting your Instagram account, they might engage with it. So you can actually target only those who engaged and not just visited. With a custom audience for a website, you can only track data up to a 180-day history. So you can only go back 180 days. However, if you only just put your pixel in a month ago, you can't track any data from before that pixel was put in. So that's why it's really important to get your pixels installed as soon as you possibly can, because without it there, you're behind the 8 ball. You're not able to track that data until the day you put it in. So even if you're not ready to run ads now, and you don't think you're going to run ads until another year or 6 months' time, still put the pixel in now, because at least you'll be able to capture that data in 6 months. And so other types of custom audiences are things like you physically are able to upload your database. So I would recommend getting legal advice before doing that, just because of the Australian privacy legislation. You don't want to be breaking the law with uploading people's personal information to Facebook without first getting their permission. And I'll show you why that's important to be careful of, because you might upload it and think, oh, they'll never know. However, people can actually see how they've been targeted through ads. So let's have a look at, just going to go into my personal profile, my timeline for my personal profile. So as we go down, we'll be able to see a sponsored ad here. So for some reason, I'm receiving this ad and I'm not sure why. So I can go to the 3 little dots on that post and down to the section that says, why am I seeing this ad? And when I click on that, it tells me that I've shown an interest in personal development or home businesses. I'm also 35 or older, and I have a primary location as Australia. Now, if you have uploaded your database to retarget your customers or find people who look like your customers, people will be able to see that, because they will click on, let's say, these 3 dots, And when they say, why am I seeing this ad? It will say, you are part of a hashed list. So if you've done that without seeking someone's permission and they know that that's what they need to look out for, then you could potentially be breaching legislation or the law there. So just when you see those ads, click on them and have a look, because you might be interested to see how you're fitting, how people are targeting you. And it could also help you figure out ways to, I guess, it can help you figure out ways to create your own marketing and targeting based on the ads that you're seeing. Yeah, so with that, any questions so far from anyone? No, with the hashed lists?
Chat.
Yep. Okay, so that's a custom audience. So let's have a look at how we might create a custom audience. So we would click on create an audience, create a custom audience. And these are the options that you've got. So earlier I said you can create it's about people who have already engaged with your business. So people who visited your website, or a customer list, which is your database, any offline activity that you're able to upload, any app activity. So people who may have engaged with your app, any catalog activity. So if you're an e-commerce business and you have uploaded your catalog to Facebook, so anyone who might have clicked on or looked at an item of clothing or a product that you offer, anyone who's watched a video. And so things like, you can say anyone who's watched my video for more than three seconds. So you're then qualifying your audience. So only people who are sort of further through that funnel, that sales funnel. Anyone who's been on my Instagram, anyone who's engaged in an event or Facebook page. So let's first of all look at a website. So anyone who's been on my website, and we can say we're taking this data from the pixel that I've installed. So the Content Monarchy Proprietary Limited pixel ending in, so it doesn't have the number there, but we know that's the pixel that's installed on my website, because remember up here, we saw that that's the pixel, Content Monarchy Proprietary Limited pixel. If you don't have that installed, you won't get that option and you're not going to be able to create this. So we want people who match any of the following criteria. So all website visitors, we can say up to maximum with a website is 180 days. And once I'm there, I would actually think about how I want to name my audience. So I'll always put a naming convention of, what is it? It's a website. And I'm looking for anyone who visits the website for 180D, right? You could, if you wanted to, people who visit a specific URL. So if you go people who visited specific web pages, not the whole website, then you can say up to 180 days, URL contains, let's have a look at this. Any URL that contains the word NDIS, I want to capture those people's data. So, and then I would actually put here URL NDIS. First of all, though, I would start quite broad, so you want to make sure, because until you actually send a lot of traffic over to that URL, it's probably not going to have a lot there. So if you don't have a lot of traffic there, you need at least a 100 sample size for Facebook to create the audience. So if you don't have that traffic, you're going to have to run some traffic to website ads to try and get people who are interested to visit that URL. So I can just see that someone's raised their hand as well. Who was that who had a question before? Anyone? No, that's all right. Looks like Aspas has raised their hand, maybe accidentally. I'm not quite sure. Anyone who does want to ask questions, just feel free to start talking. That's fine. So that's how we would create that. And once we create that audience, it will then show up in our custom audiences here. But I do want to also have a look at, so let's have a look at creating a audience based on anyone who's engaged with our Instagram account. See, you've got Facebook there as well. So we choose Instagram next. And the source is the Content Monarchy Instagram profile. And the events that we want to track here is everyone who's engaged with the professional account, or you can choose a bigger audience size, which would be visited, because people who are interested in your product, they may not necessarily engage. If you're tracking people who engage, they're definitely going to be further along that funnel, so a warmer audience. But when you're first starting out ads, you probably do need to start at a cold audience, and then you're able to filter through to then retarget a warmer audience once that audience size grows. So anyone who visited this professional account, people who engaged with any post or ad, so anyone who sent a message, so you'd have to have quite a few inbox messages to be able to put that into an audience. So we're going to go anyone who visited. Let's go visited. So like I said, with websites, you can only track data up to a 180-day history. Social media, on the other hand, so Facebook and Instagram, you're able to go back to a 365-day history. Then when I name this audience, I would always call it social first, because it's a social platform. It just means that when you're trying to look at your audiences, you're able to filter the naming convention, so it's easier for you to find audiences and understand what might be missing. So social, and then I would do an up and down line, Instagram, and then I would say visits, and then I would say 365 days. So that's how I would name it. So once that's done, you will see it in here. So as you can see, my naming convention here is website, NDIS, 180 days. Facebook visits, 365. Instagram visits, 365. And whole of website visits, 180 days. Now that we have those custom audiences, we're able to then create what's called a lookalike audience from that sample. So first you need your custom to create a lookalike. A lookalike is a cold audience again. However, what it means is that you're finding people who look like the people who already engage in your business. So I can say, I want to create a lookalike audience based on people who've been on my NDIS landing page. So I might have only had a very small sample of people, so less than 1,000 people who've been on that URL, or a URL that mentions NDIS. Now I want Facebook to go and find people who have similar interests, they fit within similar demographics, similar workplace roles, as the people who've been looking at my NDIS provider page. And so while it's not a saved audience, it's still a cold audience, but maybe not as cold as a saved audience, because it's finding similar profiles as your current customer. And so with that, I would go to create a lookalike, create audience, a lookalike audience, the source, so the source that, or the sample that I'm wanting it to create the lookalike based on. Let's go from my website, NDIS. So I need to find it. So website, NDIS, 180 days. Select your audience location. So you might work in, or you might provide products or services to the US. So you could put the United States in here. The lowest level you can go down to is Australia. So a country. You can't go down to state or town. So I would go Australia. So for those of you thinking, oh, well, that's no good to me because I only deliver services in my local area, it is still something you can use, because whilst we put Australia in here, so they're finding people who look like my customer in Australia as an audience. When it's time to run my ad, I select this audience that they've collected for around Australia, but I say to Facebook, only target those people who are based in Cairns though, or in my local area. So whilst the audience sample that they've collected is in Australia wide, don't send the ad to anyone who's outside of this city, you know. Does anyone have any questions on that so far? Questions? Just going to allow everyone to talk because it's not everyone can. Yep. Okay, everyone should be able to talk if they want to.
Hello.
Hi, who's that?
Lise here.
Hello.
Hey, I'm just wondering, I've got one website but 2 Facebook pages. Can you set up a pixel for each page to direct to one website?
Yeah, so what you would do is it's not connected to a page, your pixel. And so when you say you've got 2 Facebook pages, what sort of, why have you got 2 pages? What's the business? Can you describe it?
Yeah, so I've got a hair salon.
Yeah.
And I've got my own product range.
Right.
So
Yes.
So yeah, 2 different pages there, but directing to one website.
Okay, great. So often what I think of here is, so it goes right back to that structure of your business manager account. And when I said earlier, you need to make sure that this is set up properly. Has your product and your salon got a different name?
Yes.
Okay. And if you were to sell your product and your salon, would you sell them together, or would you usually sell maybe the product off to somebody, but your salon might be sold to a different person or as separate businesses?
I don't understand, sorry.
So let's say, would you sell your salon and your product as 2 separate businesses, or are they considered one business? Let's say one day, 10 years time, you want to sell it.
I would probably sell them separately.
Yeah. So in that instance, what I would recommend doing is creating one business manager account for your product and setting your page up in there, your ad account, your pixels, your domains, everything should be set up in there. And then your salon should be set up in a different business manager account. Because let's say, for example, I want to sell Content Monarchy, right? When I sell this business, what I would be doing is I would be removing myself from this and adding the person who purchases, and then they now become the owner of all of my digital assets. So in there would be my pixel. And so your pixels are created within a business manager or and are connected to an ad account. Not and then so you would probably need to install 2 pixels on your website, one for your product and one for your salon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So that they'd be completely separate if that's how I would recommend doing it, so that you can easily hand over the relevant assets to whoever purchases your business one day, even if it's in 10 years' time.
Sure.
Yeah. And so with that, so we're back to the lookalike audience. So Australia, I would recommend initially only creating one. So this will create multiple audiences, but let's just start with one. And I want the audience to be quite similar to the ones who already engage my business. So the higher the percentage, right here, you'll see the bigger the actual audience size is. And that means that your the bigger the percentage, the less like your current customer this audience will be. If you go right down to 1%, then your audience is much smaller, but they are going to be so similar to your current customer. It's going to be highly targeted. Whereas if you go up to 8%, there's going to be quite a difference between profiles, like your current customer and the people that you're targeting or creating an audience for. So you might find that the results are not as good because they're differentiate. They're so different from your current customer. And that's why the audience size is much bigger. So I generally, when I'm starting out with a lookalike audience, on average, like to start at about the 3%. So they're very similar to my current customer, but I still get a good chunk of estimated audience size, which Facebook's saying they're estimating about 659,000 people in Australia who look like the people who've been on my NDIS landing page on my website. So once I create that, I can then run an ad targeting those 659,000 people. Hopefully out of that, I get people land on my landing page to check it out. And then I'm snowballing my audiences, my hot audience or my warm audience to be bigger so that I'm more likely to get signups or purchases. Once you create the lookalike audience, you'll see them listed here. So Facebook will automatically name the lookalike audiences for you. You don't get to choose that name. So it will say at the beginning, lookalike, and the percentage that you chose in the country. And at the end, it will have the naming convention that you chose for your custom audience. So we can see here, there's an estimated audience size for my website visitors. So they're saying, we reckon we can probably reach between 532,000 and 626,000 people who look like your NDIS landing page visitors in Australia. But Facebook and Instagram, they haven't given me an estimated audience size for that, people who look like my Instagram or Facebook visitors. Something else you can do in here is you can have a look at the overlap between audiences. So you can actually say, I wonder how similar the people are who are in my, let's see. What do I want to do here? Sorry. I want to have a look at, just going to filter it by lookalike, the people who are NDIS lookalike, but then also, so that's where Facebook's collected it, saved NDIS, which could be disability sector here. Show audience overlap. So how much of my lookalike audience is also being targeted through my saved audience, because I don't want to be paying to send an ad to both audiences if they're both very similar. So you can see here that they're saying that I've got an overlap here of 330,000 people. So nearly half of my lookalike audience I'm already targeting through a saved audience. So these are the sorts of things that you can use to compare audiences and fine-tune and or refine the people that you're targeting. And as you do that, you'll find that you get better results. So once you start tweaking this, adjusting it, understanding how it works, understanding who you're targeting, understanding who gets you the better results, then you can, I'll show you once we go into our ads manager. So this is a relatively new business, so we don't have a lot of data in here, but I can show you. Sorry, won't be one moment. Okay, so in here, we're going to look for SBN. I always like to use a keyword in my ads so that I can easily search for and filter out things that are not relevant. So in here, I've got, this is my ads that I'm targeting in here. So maximum. Here we go, it must be this one. I've turned this one off at the moment. So that had a $40 daily budget that we were spending. The campaign name. So campaign is basically what you're trying to achieve. So you set your objective at the campaign level. So for this one, we wanted to drive traffic to our website and we wanted to optimize it for landing page views. And so any ads that I do in here will have to be ads that we're trying to get as many landing page views as possible. So once I go into that ads, I can see that there's two ad sets that we're targeting. Ad sets are the audiences that we're targeting. And so in here, we're targeting a lookalike audience. So people who look like visitors onto the NDIS landing page. And we're also targeting a saved audience, so the disability sector. And remember earlier I had a look and it was a 330,000 audience overlap. So let's have a look and see which one out of those two are performing better. So I can see the lookalike at the top, saved at the bottom. I've spent, or Facebook has spent more money on the lookalike audience. The lookalike audience has actually not reached as many as the saved, even though the budget's been higher or the amount spent's been higher. And let's look at the results though. We've had, out of the lookalike audience, we've had more landing page views and they have cost us less for the lookalike audience than what the saved audience has cost. So the these are the sorts of things that you can do to compare your different audience groups. If they're not working, then I would go further down and have a look at the actual types of ads that we're running and think about, so here you can see the ad creatives, so the different amount of landing page views and which ones seem to be working better for us. So this one here has cost us $1.62 per landing page view. And this one here has cost us $1.57 per landing page view. So that's the better performing ad. So I would have a look at that ad and see, why is that one performing better? Is it the audience size is a much cheaper cost per acquisition? I'm not sure. So this is where you need to come in and compare how your audiences are performing with your ads. So with that, did anybody want me to go in the back end of their accounts to have a look at how it's been set up and if there's anything that I could recommend to improve it?
Yes, please.
All right. So that was Sue?
Yep.
Yes. Hello. So I will just allow sharing. Okay. Now, hosts and panelists, I'm going to have to make you, Sue, a panelist in order to share.
I'm probably not going to be able to get onto it on this computer. So maybe.
Oh, okay. That might be a problem then.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can try if you like. And while you're trying to share, there's the green share button down the bottom of our screen. While you're trying to do that, I can answer any questions that other people might have. Has anyone here got questions at all that they want to ask about audiences and ads?
It's Lisa here.
Hi.
I have set up in the past another ad account, and I've tried to disable it, but it now won't actually let me set up an ad account for my own business. How do I actually contact, or who do I contact in regards to making sure that I can remove that? Because it only allows me to have one ad
in your business manager account.
Yeah.
So now you were saying, was it you were, Lisa, you were the one who had the hair salon, weren't you?
No, I'm in healthcare.
Healthcare, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah, so really there's no way around that at the moment. How come you disabled that one ad account?
I'm not using it. And actually I've set it up in my account because I was managing that page, but I actually don't have rights to the original page. I'm only an admin, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So how do I want to be able to set up my own business ad account, but it's not letting me because I've disabled that other previous one, because I thought that would then give me the ability to set up my own by disabling it.
No. So what I would recommend is creating a business manager account.
Yeah.
With the page that you want to create the ad account for.
Yeah.
And within that business manager account, creating a new business ad account.
So how do I do that if I've already got my Facebook set up through that page?
Okay, so what page is your ad account currently connected to, the one that you've disabled?
Can I share my screen?
Now, where are we at the moment? I've just got to share.
Oh, you've got someone else.
Yeah, that's okay. Why don't we come back to you?
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah, and we'll see if you can share your screen. We'll have a look at that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Okay, Sue, so we were going to have a look at, what were we going to look at for you again?
I don't know. The settings, I think, to see if it's been set up properly.
Okay, so we're sort of going in here at the moment into business manager, Facebook business manager territory. Can you just accept that request there, Sue?
Yep.
And so that's okay, but we'll use the next, say, 15 minutes to do that. I think this is where probably the biggest challenge is for most businesses. First, we want to see who owns your page, your business page. So we go into the settings and we go into our page access, and we can see that there is a business manager account that owns the page. That's good. We just hope that it's you. So we go to a new tab and we go to business.facebook.com. /settings. If you are the owner of that business manager account, then you'll get access into the back end of it. And so here we are. So it must be the only business manager account that you own and manage, because it's here. And you are the admin. We can see that because you've got the badge. And the page that's connected is your business page. So this here does need to be set up. It's not set up properly, this business manager account. So there's a few things that you would need to do. We definitely won't have time to go through that today, but I do run a Facebook business manager workshop. So I'd recommend attending that one. If you've got any one-on-one consultations left through the Digital Solutions program, feel free to book in with me and I can help you.
Yep.
So brand safety, you'll need to verify your domain with Facebook. Pixels, you'll need to create a pixel and install it on your website. And these are the things that you probably will need help with.
Yeah.
Your Instagram account. So if you've got an Instagram account, it needs to be imported and connected through here. And your ad account, this is where you would create your business ad account, and you should only ever use this ad account for paying for ads for business purposes.
Yeah.
And last but not least, down here in business zone info, this should all be filled out. This tells you how many ads you're allowed to create. You've got permission to create. So the more money you spend on ads and show Facebook that you're a trustworthy advertiser, so you're paying your bills, you're not violating policies, etc., then they will then start approving you to create a second ad account, a third ad account. Okay. So that's what you would have to do there, Lisa, if you want to do the other option.
Yeah.
And it's really important for everyone to have their two-factor authentication turned on. Really, really important. It's not a matter of if you get hacked, it's when. You will definitely get hacked if you don't have that turned on. So you need to make sure that you've got your two-factor authentication turned on for your personal Facebook account. And then once that's done, go across to your business manager and make sure that it's turned on for everyone. So that means anyone who ever works with your business assets, they have to have their two-factor on in order to touch your accounts, because you can't really control if somebody else is giving their password to their kids or their husband or whatever, and if that's exposing your business then to security risk. So to do your two-factor authentication, you go into your personal Facebook profile, settings and privacy. Just going to go in there. Settings. And then account, where am I? Security and login. Scroll down and here it says two-factor authentication. I would recommend always using the Authenticator app option. So there's the option for text message. They always go missing. Use Authentication app. You'll need to download the app on your phone. Yeah, I recommend Google Authenticator. And so set your two-factor up. Once you've done that, and I would say as soon as we've finished our workshop today, go and do that as a first thing. Yeah. Then come down to your business manager and turn this toggle on. So we're in business info on the left-hand tab, and no one should be turned on to everyone. Okay. So that would be something I would say to do first. Okay. Yeah. Did you want to, who was it? Lisa, did you want to share your screen? And you're on mute, just so you know.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm trying to follow along with you and I've only got a one screen and it's just becoming a bit
a bit hard, yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at mine and I thought that I had actually set up my I'd verified my account, my business account with my Pixel, but it's now saying it's not. So I just find really frustrating with Facebook is that you think you've done it and then it says it's done and then it's not for whatever reason. So I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to share my screen. How do I go about doing that through the Zoom?
Yeah, so if you just go down the bottom, there's a green share button.
I've only got chat, raise hand and Q&A.
Oh, you know why? I just realised why. It's because I need to give you panelist access.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not
used just me. I was like, oh gosh.
No, it's not you, it's me. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating that we've got to do that in order to share. There you go. You should try now.
Join as panelist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I can see I've got, while you're doing that, I'm just going to answer a couple of questions. I've got one here. So someone here called ASBAS. Can I just ask who that is? Because ASBAS is actually our digital solutions program. So there's a participant who's called themselves ASBAS. Who's that? And just put that in the chat if you don't mind. You can do it privately to me if you like. All right, so let's have a look at this. I'm just going to request remote control to drive. And what I would recommend in this instance, so health thoughts. First of all, we've got you over here. Oh, it's not letting me control anything. Maybe if you just stop, don't move your mouse for a sec, and I'll see if it lets me. No, it's not letting me click on your screen. It must be something to do with your permissions. So I'll just walk you through where to click. Now, you've got two-factor turned on for everyone. That's good. You've got one ad account creation limit. So the way to increase that would be is if you start running ads and paying your bills and not doing any policy violations, you'll very quickly get permission to create a second ad account. But that means you'd need to create ads from this current ad account. So if you can click on people on the very left-hand side, in here, you've got yourself and another email address there. Then if you click on pages on the left-hand side, there's your page. And then if you go down to your ad accounts, okay, so ad account is disabled. So tell me, why did you disable that one and not use that one for this business? You there, Lisa? Oh, you're on mute. You there, Lisa?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so sorry, can you just explain, so how come you disabled that ad account instead of using that ad account for your ads?
Because I don't want that ad account. It's not me. It's a church.
Oh, we can rename that.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So that's now, so this ad account belongs to this business manager. You can call it whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right. So I can actually go back in and maybe
enable it, re-enable it.
Re-enable it and then just rename it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what you would do. And so rename it and then connect it to your page. So
how do I do that?
Now
then?
Let's see. What's going on? Can we click in the previous tab that you were in? Yep. And click on the three little dots at the very top right. Make active. Yeah. And then what did it do? Can you click on those three little dots again? It's not working for us, is it?
No, this is why I find it so annoying.
Have you tried to make that active previously?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So let's just click on the see details again.
Yep.
Yep. And this might be something that would be worth getting a one-on-one consultation for.
So I have, and this is what I was told to do. I wasn't told to rename it. I was told to disable it.
Okay.
So this is my problem in that I get sort of conflicting information.
Yeah. And I guess what can happen is people might specialize in different areas of social, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is more my area I specialize in. But yeah, so what we would need to do in this instance is
can I open it in the ads manager?
Yeah, open in the ads manager. This is our policy violation area. So you've got your two-factor. Yeah, so the other thing, just so everyone here's aware, just to be careful of when you're creating ad accounts, that you always select the right country, currency, because you can't actually change that after it's been created. And okay, what happened here? Can we just click on
gone back to my
lines?
page posts now.
Yeah, click on those 3 lines, and then we'll go to your go to Ads Manager, and then okay, business settings. I know what's going on. You've got to add yourself to your ad account. So add yourself there. Oh, you can't even add yourself. Yeah, look, I think this is something you'd have to probably put in a ticket with Facebook.
Okay, how do I do that?
Yeah. You'll have to go down to that help section down the bottom there and get some help.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do get stuck, work with somebody to do a one-on-one consultation, because this will take a little bit of time.
Okay. And what will Facebook do? Will they get in contact with me via phone, or will they?
Every way they contact you is different, depending on the level of relationship that you've got with them and what the actual issue is. So they've got different contact methods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they are very hard
to hijack everyone else's.
Yeah, I've got a rep that I work with from Facebook personally, so I actually have a direct email, but then other people might have to go through the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Okay. I might just message you a help link as well. If you just want to email me, I'll send you my email address. I'll send you a link that you can try and open a chat support with them. Yeah. So did anybody else here? I'll continue with our slides just for the rest of this. So we spoke about the 3 different audiences. The other thing I wanted to touch on was where in the funnel is your audience. So this is a sales funnel, and at the top you've got your awareness and attention. So as many people as possible need to go on the top of that. And that's more like your brand awareness campaigns. So that will be your cold audiences, like your lookalikes and your saved. Then you've got consideration or interest. So this is where you're hoping to drive traffic to your website, where people will consider your product. And it could be positioning yourself as an expert in your field. So for example, it might be that, you do the best donuts in town. And the reason that you want people to consider yours over someone else's is because yours, you have gluten-free and also only 20% of the calories that other donut companies have. I don't know, I'm making this up. So then you're hoping to drive traffic over there for them to learn more information about your business. Once they get there, and so that's still usually a saved and a lookalike audience, so quite big. Then you want them to desire it. So you want them to be there. You want them to want it. They might sign up for an e-newsletter or to receive your discounts. And that there becomes more of you're collecting your warm audience. When you want them to decide, you're now going to be retargeting the people who've been on your website. So that's a much smaller audience out of the people who you've attracted in the first place. You've got people who visited your audience, and they're the ones that you're trying to make them decide. So you can actually say to Facebook, when you're creating your audiences, let's say you offer an online fitness subscription, you might say to Facebook, I want to create an audience of people who've been on my website but have not made a purchase in the last 30 days. So then you are only going to be paying to reach those people who have been there, they're looking, they're interested, they desire your product, but they haven't bought yet. And so that might be an ad where you're saying, sign up before the end of financial year to receive 20% off your subscription. And so that might be the thing that makes them decide. And then the ultimate goal after that would be to retain that audience. So how do you get them to sign up for a 1-year subscription or a recurring subscription? So, or even advocate for you. So to leave reviews, testimonials, and stuff like that. So that's where, when we're looking at our audiences and we're creating those in our audiences dashboard, start thinking about the sorts of people you can target to fit within the funnel. So who would be people likely to decide? Probably not really going to convert very many people in the awareness and consideration stage. Probably more going to be the desire and people who've been on your website checking out your product but not purchased recently. Or you might be an e-commerce business where they're a loyal customer, they've purchased this product, so you want to retarget them to let them know about a different product that's similar to the interest of the product that they've already bought. And then then you're retargeting those guys. It's a much smaller audience, so your budget's usually smaller when you're running ads to those audiences, but they're much more likely to convert. And so we had a look in the back end around the audience's dashboard. Did anyone have any more questions with regards to that and how their product might be able to fit in with that funnel or their audiences? No. Has it sort of made a bit of sense, or is everyone a little bit more confused than when they first came along?
Hi, can I just ask something?
Yeah.
With regard to Instagram, can you do everything from the same Facebook account, and do you need to have two different sets of ads if you're using both of them?
No, so you can actually advertise to both Facebook and Instagram from this same ad dashboard, provided you've got both your Facebook and Instagram accounts connected.
Okay, yeah, they are at the moment.
Yeah, so there's 3 different levels of connecting your Instagram and your Facebook. So you need to connect it through, you connect it to your page, your Instagram to your Facebook page. Then you connect it through your business suite. And also you need to connect it in your business manager account. So just make sure that it's all connected through all those different areas. And when you're running an ad, you can choose to deliver it to both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you be targeting for your audience people who've commented on things and videos and liked? Is that the sort of, because I'm at the point where I now need to build my email list. So I've got some lead magnets. So I was going to put those out and just basically see them and just, see if they can do it and just say, look, do you mind if I take your details? And then I can use that. So
if it was me, I would be doing, in that instance, if your objective is to try and grow your database, I would run ads, lead generation ads.
Yeah.
So ads which are designed to collect people's information. So it could be their email, their business name, their postcode, their phone number. Whenever I run lead generation ads on Facebook, I like to use those for a higher value product or an inquiry for a product which won't convert online necessarily, but is more likely to convert through conversation. So there's 2 ways I do it, but I find the most successful way is to run a lead generation ad and set up, it's a plugin that you can set up so that it's called Zapier. Every time someone submits an inquiry or a lead, you receive an email. So then you can call, when someone's submitted a lead, you call them straight away to talk to them and then let them know you'll be following up with an email to them. And I find that's really effective because people receive so much advertising material these days. Even if they say they want more information, they forget that they've said that. Yeah. And so if your email doesn't hit their inbox until 3 days later, they've already forgotten about you. So I think it's the most important thing with your lead generation ads is that when you're doing an ad, they submit their information. Yeah. You call them as quickly as you can in that same day.
Sure.
And then you say that you'll follow up with an email, some information, and much, much higher chance of converting that way. And but lead generation ads on Facebook are really, really good if you're doing that process. But if you're just collecting leads and then not contacting them for a week or so, it's a huge failure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, to follow up.
Yeah.
I've got some lead magnet things to get out there, but I want to follow up on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope that there was, helped a little bit with your audiences and understanding how important it is to make sure that you set up correctly for business, especially with your pixels and domain verification, so that you can start creating your audiences for ads. Get those installed as soon as possible because you can't track the data until they're installed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great day.
And you, thank
Thanks,
you.
Renee.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.